that can often be held to mean the same thing. When people refuse to differentiate between the two, from conjecture and fact, the world can become warped. People who lack the discipline to obtain the truth won't spend their time checking up on their dogma. They would rather cling on to unsubstantiated beliefs than fight the degradation and further breakdown of our society. Facts run the world. Facts also run a very fleeting thing called life. Now, I realize there are a lot of speeches out there that cover the point I'm about to try and make to you. And some didn't think I should approach this topic because it might be too familiar or too sad. But when original oratory was explained to us, they said to write it on something you feel strongly about. There's nothing I feel more strongly about than this. People, probably most of the world's population, believe that depression is caused by negative thinking. They'll give you the kind of advice like, think more positively, and figure that will solve everything. However, depression is caused most often by chemical imbalances in the brain. Like one chemical will be lacking, and so it will be sent to one nerve instead of to the rest following it, which can lead the person to not being able to tell between their emotions. And also when there's too much of a certain chemical, and it goes everywhere in the brain, which can lead to feelings of despair, depression, hopelessness, or lack of interest. Now, imagine you suffered from depression and or suicidal thoughts, but were scared to talk about it because you were afraid people would judge you for it. So every day, you put on a smile and tell the world you're doing just fine. Marilyn Monroe had to do this. According to my source, she had 3 miscarriages and suffered from clinical depression. She was actually very smart, though most people don't think so. She had an IQ of 168, while Albert Einstein had an IQ of only 163. Having to hide who you really are and having to hide all of those negative emotions is extremely difficult, I assure you. People can blame the internet for the fact that many children and teens suffer these days, but we can't blame an inanimate object for something. It's the people who bully. It's the people who will drag you down just to make themselves feel better. Society, well, really the people who are in it, has changed. It's like there's no way, for lack of a better term, to win anymore. There are all sorts of insults in the world now. You can try to be nice or just be yourself, and anybody can make fun of you for it just because they're jealous or because they want to feel better about themselves, or maybe because they just don't have anything better to do. Some people just do it because they get the kicks and giggles from it. Point is, not enough people know about what's happening in the world, or they just don't care enough to find out. Knowledge, facts, and the truth are what build a society and culture and relationships. You can believe that something is a fact if you go around telling everyone. That is how a rumor gets started. Because somebody didn't know and didn't look for the truth, people kill themselves. So just, ignore all that. Don't spread rumors and try to be the better person. I have a very close friend who wasn't allowed to see her boyfriend anymore because he got a speeding ticket. And she got an argument with her father over the matter, and she said, "Why don't I just kill myself?" He said, "Go ahead." Her mother found her upstairs trying to cut into her wrists and had her taken to the emergency room. She was sent to a hospital in Helena called Shodair for about 2 weeks. Depression can happen to anyone, but it's not just caused by suddenly one night you wake up and you're sad. It happens gradually over time due to certain root causes. Maybe a childhood traumatic experience that you had thought you'd gotten over, but your subconscious was still holding on to it. Or maybe you've got an older sibling who just likes to pick on you for no reason. In short, beliefs and knowledge are not the same thing. Just because you believe something is true doesn't make it true. Now, I'm not saying you have to go and squabble all your beliefs just because, it might hurt somebody. I mean, it's okay to believe in one religion while somebody else believes in another. But always try to find the truth and help anybody whenever you can.